Kristi, Governor. Have you gotten any apologies from those individuals?
No apologies, Laura, but my people are happy. They appreciated the fact that we didn't shut down their businesses. We allowed them to be flexible, take care of health and protect the public while still taking care of their customers and their employees as well. So we're doing really good in South Dakota. We're managing COVID-19, but also our economy is thriving. I think people are really recognizing that leadership has consequences, and what we're doing in South Dakota is Republican leadership.
Now, Governor Noem, when you tour the country, and I know you've done some campaign events for President Trump, there are still a lot of women out there who, especially women, I think more so than men for whatever reason, they're really freaked out and are worried. This has been a terrible tragedy for the country about COVID. And many of them think the president hasn't handled it well. But given what we're seeing in Europe with 200,000 cases now there, and the economic damage, what can you say to the women of this country who are, they're concerned?
They're concerned about health, but Laura, we're having real honest conversations. They're also concerned about their children, about their education. They recognize they're falling behind every day because in some of these Democrat-run states, their kids still aren't in the classroom. They're also worried about law and order, about raising their children on safe streets, and that's not happening in these blue states either. So, you know, the women are recognizing that they care about keeping their children healthy, but also their children aren't the ones who are the most vulnerable during this pandemic. And meanwhile, they're the ones suffering the biggest consequences. They're not getting the education they deserve. They're living in a world that is filled with anxiety and fear, which the media is perpetuating, which is a grave disservice to our kids. And then they're also living with more crime on their streets and concerned about even being able to let their kids walk down the street. So I've just been telling folks that it matters who's in charge, it matters who's making decisions, that we all get emotional during campaigns, and this is not the time to be emotional. We have to look at policies, what this president has done and how he's kept us safe.
Yeah, and what about the debate tomorrow? I mean, advice for the president. He has his solid supporters locked down. They're going to walk across glass to vote for him. But there's a couple percentage points maybe that you could move the electorate either way. What does he need to do tomorrow to convince people who feel slightly uncomfortable about voting for him because of tone or temperament?
I'm not worried about the president at all. I think he knows the message that this country needs to hear, and it's a message of hope. It's what he's done. He is the only guy I know that literally has followed through on everything he promised. He said what he was going to do in 2016, and he has done it. He's done more to defend our fundamental freedoms in the last 4 years than any president has for 50 years. So if he talks about what he's accomplished, and then he just lets Joe speak, we're going to be just fine, and people will really see the president that has delivered so well for the American people.
Now, Governor Noem, just finally, we learned tonight that Mitt Romney did not vote for President Trump. Apparently, he's voted early. As he's a former governor of Massachusetts, now senator from Utah. What about those Republicans, very small sliver, who are apparently just not voting for him?
Well, shame on them. I mean, honestly, this is a situation where we have a president that fights to defend this country, and Joe Biden's policies that he's embraced, they will destroy America. You know, the only reason I'm going to these states is because the choice is so clear, and what President Trump does for us by fighting for us to keep our Constitution in place, to defend what our founders envisioned for our country, to give our kids a hope and a vision for what really is possible with the American dream. We need him back in the White House, and what Joe Biden has stood for, fought for, and the policies he's embraced in this campaign are extreme. And we will suffer the consequences if he's allowed to be in the White House.
Governor, great to see you tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. No apologies for characters coming.